I believe this is a word for someone today. You've been knocked down, disappointed, told it's too late, heard too many no's, and somewhere along the way you stopped trying, you stopped dreaming, you put the calling on the shelf. But God sent me to tell you, it's time to try again, time to believe again, time to hope again. That failure didn't disqualify you. That delay didn't cancel your destiny. Just because it didn't work out before doesn't mean it won't work out now. God is not done writing your story, and the next chapter begins with one bold step, trying again. Failure is not a stop sign, it's a stepping stone. Too often we treat failure like it's final. We hear that no, we hit that wall, we experience the loss, and we assume it means it's over. But the truth is, failure is not where your story ends, it's where your next chapter begins. The enemy wants you to believe that because it didn't work out last time, it won't work out this time. But our God is a redeemer, and he uses everything, even failure, to prepare you for what's coming. Think about a staircase. Each step may feel like you're just lifting your foot and going up a little, but every step is necessary to reach the next level. Failure is not meant to break you, it's meant to build you. It's part of the process. It teaches you, sharpens you, humbles you. Sometimes the setback is just setting you up for something greater than you had in mind. God's not looking at your past mistakes saying, well, that's it for them. No, he's looking at you with eyes of mercy saying, get back up, I'm not finished with you yet. Peter failed. He denied Jesus 3 times. Most people would have written him off, but God didn't. Jesus came back and said, Peter, do you love me? Then feed my sheep. In other words, try again. He didn't throw him away because of the mistake. He called him forward in spite of it, and Peter went on to preach the first sermon of the early church. That's what grace looks like. Maybe you've failed in your business, your marriage, your education, your dreams. Maybe you've failed spiritually and feel unworthy to be used by God, but let me tell you, you are not your failure. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are a child of God, and there is still purpose in your life. Don't let that one bad chapter convince you the book is over. Failure isn't the end, it's the evidence that you tried. And if you tried once, you can try again. Dust off the dream, get the plan back out. Ask again, apply again, show up again. God sees your persistence, and he honors it. What felt like a breakdown is going to lead to a breakthrough. It's not time to sit in shame. It's time to stand in faith and try again. Delays are not denials, they're divine detours. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We serve a God who knows how to order your steps and reroute your path without canceling your promise. You may be thinking, God, why is this taking so long? But the delay isn't to discourage you, it's to develop you. What you think is a no might just be a not yet. And if it's not yet, that means there's still something on the way. Sometimes God slows us down, not to hold us back, but to set us up. He's working behind the scenes in ways we can't see. He's lining up the right people, the right resources, the right timing. If he gave it to you too early, it might overwhelm you. If he opened the door too soon, you might not be ready to walk through it. That's why the delay is actually a form of protection. It's grace disguised as patience. It's love disguised as silence. Think about Joseph. He had a dream as a young man that he would rise to a place of influence. But before that dream came to pass, he went through betrayal, false accusation, prison, 13 years of delays, but every step was a divine detour. Had he skipped the pit, he wouldn't have ended up in the palace. Had he avoided the prison, he wouldn't have been positioned to interpret Pharaoh's dream. And when the time was right, not a moment too soon or too late, God lifted him up, just like he promised. God's not in a hurry, and he's never late. That delay you're experiencing, it's not wasted time. It's preparation time. He's preparing you for what you've been praying for. You may not feel it, but you're growing stronger in the waiting. You're gaining wisdom, learning trust, and developing character. That closed door wasn't rejection. It was redirection. and where he's taking you is better than what you had in mind. You may be tempted to give up, to settle, to assume your best days are behind you. But let me encourage you, God's delays are not denials. Don't mistake the silence for absence. Don't mistake the pause for punishment. He knows exactly where you are, and he hasn't forgotten what he promised. The delay is divine. The detour has purpose, and at the right time, God will bring it all together in a way that makes sense. So hold on a little longer, stay in faith, keep showing up even when it's quiet. Because the delay is just the setup for something greater. God never asks for perfection, just persistence. So many times we disqualify ourselves because we think we have to have it all together. We say, God, I would try again, but I still have doubts. I still struggle. I still make mistakes. But God isn't looking for flawless people. He's looking for faithful ones. He's not waiting on perfection. He's responding to persistence. He's moved by your willingness to keep going even when it's hard, to keep trusting even when you don't understand, to keep showing up even when you feel unqualified. You may not feel strong. You may not have all the answers. But if you'll just keep taking steps, God will meet you with grace. The scripture says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Not the leaps, not the sprints, just the steps. That means you don't have to climb the whole mountain today. Just take the next step. Just do the next right thing. Keep being faithful in the little, and God will handle the big. Think about the woman with the issue of blood. She wasn't perfect. In fact, she was considered unclean. People told her she didn't belong, but she didn't let that stop her. She pressed through the crowd. She said, "If I can just touch the hem of his garment, I know I'll be made whole." That was persistence. That was faith in action. And Jesus didn't say, "Well, let's see your credentials." He didn't say, "Come back when you've got it all together." No, he said, "Daughter, your faith has made you whole." That same favor is available to you. Maybe you've tried before and it didn't work. Maybe you've prayed and nothing seemed to happen. Maybe you've tried to forgive, to start over, to break free, and you slipped up. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human, and God knows that. He's not disappointed in your process. He delights in your pursuit. Every time you choose to try again, heaven celebrates. Every time you say, "God, I'm not perfect, but I'm still willing," you're activating His power in your life. The pressure to be perfect will paralyze you, but persistence will position you. It says, "I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not staying where I was." It says, "I've made mistakes, but I'm not giving up." That's the kind of heart God responds to. That's the kind of faith that moves mountains. So stop striving to be flawless and start showing up with faith. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just keep walking. Just keep trusting. And as you do, you'll find that God's strength is made perfect, not in your perfection, but in your persistence. Your comeback is already scheduled in heaven's calendar. You may have gone through a setback, faced disappointment, or lost something that mattered to you, but that is not the end of your story. God has already marked the day, the hour, the moment when everything turns around in your favor. It may feel like you're stuck, like the delay has lasted too long, but I want you to know, your comeback has already been written into your destiny. You're not forgotten, and you're not overlooked. Heaven has not gone silent. It's working right on schedule. Just because you don't see anything changing doesn't mean God isn't doing something. The comeback is often silent before it's sudden. In the natural, it may seem quiet, but in the spiritual, there's movement. There's a shift. There's a lining up of divine appointments. God is orchestrating the right people, the right doors, the right moments, all in your favor. At the exact time that He's appointed, it will all come together, and it will make sense. Look at Job. He lost everything. His health, his wealth, his family. People said, "He's done. He must have done something wrong." But Job stayed faithful. He didn't give up. And at the appointed time, God gave him double for his trouble. Not just a little blessing, an overflow blessing. Job's comeback had already been scheduled before the trial ever started. It was part of the plan, and I believe the same is true for you. Your disappointment is not the final chapter. Your pain doesn't cancel your purpose. You may feel like you've missed it, like it's too late, like you're too far behind, but you are right on time for what God has planned. That broken season, that betrayal, that setback, it's not the period. It's just a comma. God is still writing. He's still moving. He's still setting the stage. The beauty of a comeback is that it's always greater than the setback. God doesn't just restore to where you were. He takes you beyond what you lost. He adds increase, adds wisdom, adds depth. You come back stronger, better, more anointed, and people around you will look and say, "How did they recover so beautifully?" You'll be able to say, "It wasn't me. It was the grace of God. He had my comeback on his calendar all along." So don't give up. Don't get stuck in what went wrong. Lift your eyes, stand in faith, because the one who holds time in his hands hasn't forgotten you. Your moment is coming. Your restoration is on the way. And when it arrives, it's going to be more than you could ask, think, or imagine. You're closer than you think. Don't quit at the door. It's easy to look at what hasn't happened yet and feel discouraged. You've prayed, you've believed, you've stood in faith, but it still seems like the door hasn't opened. And the temptation is to say, maybe this isn't for me, maybe it wasn't meant to be. But what if I told you you're standing right in front of it? What if the breakthrough is on the other side of one more step, one more prayer, one more try? Sometimes the enemy knows he can't stop what God promised you, so he works overtime to get you to stop short. He'll whisper, "You've waited long enough, it's not working, you're wasting your time." But the truth is, the resistance increases right before the release. The pressure intensifies right before the promise. That's when you know you're close, you're at the threshold. You've come too far to turn back now. Think about the people of Israel marching around the walls of Jericho. God told them to walk around the city once a day for 6 days, and then 7 times on the 7th day. Imagine if they had stopped on the 6th day, or even on the 6th lap of that final day. The walls wouldn't have fallen. The promise wouldn't have been fulfilled, but because they kept walking, because they didn't quit at the door, they saw the miracle. And maybe that's where you are. You've done everything you know to do. You've been faithful, you've cried, you've stood firm, and now you're weary, but I came to tell you, don't quit now. You're right there. The enemy wouldn't be fighting you this hard if you weren't close. The door is about to open, the walls are about to fall, the breakthrough is about to be released. You've invested too much to give up. You've prayed too long to walk away. What God started in your life, He's going to finish. That dream He placed in your heart wasn't random. It was prophetic. That calling you keep thinking about, the passion that won't go away, the burden that keeps waking you up at night, it's not there by accident. It's confirmation that you're still on track. You might not feel it, but heaven is cheering you on, angels are surrounding you, God is still guiding you, and the door, though it may look closed, is about to swing wide open. What you're believing for may not show up all at once, but step by step, day by day, it's unfolding. So hold your peace, stay in faith. Don't retreat when you're right at the edge of the promise. What God has for you is worth waiting for, worth fighting for, worth standing for. You're closer than you think, so keep walking, keep worshipping, and don't you dare quit at the door. When you move in faith, grace moves with you. Too often, we wait for all the conditions to be perfect before we step out. We say, "God, open the door, and then I'll walk through it. Make everything clear, and then I'll move." But God works differently. He asks us to take the step before we see the way. And when you take that step of faith, when you move without having all the answers, that's when His grace shows up and does what you could never do on your own. Faith activates the favor of God. Faith says, "I may not know how it's all going to work out, but I trust the one who does." And when you move with that kind of trust, supernatural things begin to happen. The waters part after your feet hit the river. The provision comes after you start building the ark. The miracle shows up after you stretch out your hand. God meets you in motion, not in hesitation. Think about the lepers Jesus healed. He told them, "Go show yourselves to the priests." Now, they weren't healed yet. They still had leprosy when he gave that command. But the Bible says, as they went, they were cleansed, and not before they moved, as they moved. In other words, grace met them on the road. Healing came because they obeyed in faith. You may be waiting for the perfect time to try again, to start that business, to pursue that dream, to rebuild that relationship. But God is saying, take the step. My grace is already moving with you. You're not walking into uncertainty alone. You're walking with a helper, a provider, a waymaker, and His grace will cover what your strength can't. You don't have to have all the resources, all the knowledge, or all the confidence. All you need is the courage to take the first step. Because when you move, you're not just moving into the unknown. You're moving into divine alignment. You're stepping into the current of God's favor, and His grace will carry you where your effort never could. The scripture says, we walk by faith, not by sight. That means you won't always see how it's going to work out. But if you trust Him enough to move, you'll see doors open, burdens lift, opportunities appear. Grace doesn't always remove the challenge, but it empowers you to overcome it. So take that step, write the vision, make the call, forgive again, dream again, try again. Because as you do, you'll find that grace isn't waiting at the finish line. It's walking beside you, holding you up, clearing the path, and making a way. When you move in faith, grace moves in power. Friends, I don't know what you've walked through. I don't know the doors that have closed, the disappointments you've faced, the times you've said, God, I gave it my best. Why didn't it work out? But I do know this, it's not over. The enemy wants you to think the setback was final. He wants you to believe the failure defines you. But the truth is, God is not done writing your story. There is more ahead, more favor, more opportunity, more healing, more open doors. It's time to try again. You may feel tired, discouraged, unsure of how to move forward. That's okay. You don't need all the answers, just the willingness to take one step, just one decision to believe again, to hope again, to get back up and say, God, I still trust you. That one act of faith can shift everything. Don't let the enemy talk you out of your destiny. Don't let the past rob you of the future. You didn't come this far to stop now. This is a new day. The delays didn't cancel the promise. The heartbreak didn't cancel your calling. What you thought was the end was just a pause, and right now heaven is leaning in. God is saying, I've still got the plan. I've still got the blessing. I still know how to get you there. He's the God of second chances, of fresh starts, of divine comebacks. What you've lost, He can restore. What's broken, He can rebuild. What looks impossible, He can make possible. So breathe again, hope again. Stand up on the inside and say, I'm not staying down. I'm not giving up. I'm going to try again. Because this time, you're not trying alone. This time, God's grace is going before you. His favor is surrounding you. His strength is filling you. Don't let fear or failure hold you back. Your next chapter is going to be better than the last. The best relationships, the best opportunities, the best seasons, they are still ahead. You've got what it takes. You are anointed. You are equipped. You are chosen for such a time as this.